By to call you into obscurity. Yeah. The thing I was gonna say is, out of all those people that initially asked me to be on, that I said no to, the only person that has not invited me back after months and months of back and forth was after months and months of back and forth was Lex Fridman. I think he unfollowed me. I don't think he likes me anymore. And I think it's partially because he really likes Destiny. I don't know what it is. Yeah. Do you love Albania? Of course.
In the flickering neon glow of the internet, where every tweet is a soliloquy and every unfollow a dagger to the heart, Hassan Piker's offhand musings about Lex Fridman's cold shoulder feel less like a podcast anecdote and more like a scene from a David Lynch fever dream, cryptic, absurd, and heavy with unspoken truths. Picture it, Hassan, the Twitch titan with a megaphone and a mission, casually tossing shade at Fridman, the soft-spoken technocrat who's made a career of playing Switzerland in the culture wars. The beef, if you can call it that, is less a clash of titans and more a quiet tragedy, a tale of invitations rescinded, egos bruised, and the ghost of destiny lurking in the subtext like a specter at a digital feast. This isn't just a spat. It's a liberal elegy for the fractured soul of online discourse, a comedic requiem for a world where even the most earnest olive branches come with a hidden thorn. Let's set the stage. Hassan, with his revolutionary fervor and a wardrobe that screams, "I read Marx but also shop at Urban Outfitters," is the internet's resident firebrand, a streamer whose rants are equal parts manifesto and stand-up routine. Fridman, by contrast, is the contemplative android of podcasting, a man whose voice could lull a caffeinated toddler to sleep, yet whose guest list reads like a UN summit of contrarian thought. The drama, such as it is, hinges on a simple act. Hassan declined Fridman's invitation to appear on his show, and after months of back and forth, Fridman not only stopped asking but, gasp, unfollowed him. It's the kind of petty slight that feels seismic in the hyperconnected world of X and Twitch, where followers are currency and attention is oxygen. Hassan's response, delivered with the smirking nonchalance of a man who's seen worse, is less a call-out and more a shrug, but beneath it lies a deeper wound. A liberal's lament for a culture that punishes dissent while rewarding neutrality. From a liberal perspective, this microdrama is a cracked lens on the state of digital dialogue. Hassan, for all his bombast, is a figure of principle, a man who staked his career on calling out the hypocrisies of power, whether it's corporate greed, imperialist wars, or the creeping fascism of the right. Fridman, meanwhile, is the embodiment of tech-bro-centrism, a man who cloaks his platform in the guise of open dialogue, while cozying up to figures whose ideas flirt with the fringes. The unfollow, then, isn't just a personal snub. It's a symbolic rejection of Hassan's worldview, a quiet vote for the status quo over the radical. The liberal heart aches at this, not because Hassan is a saint, he's not, but because it sees in Fridman's retreat a broader failure, a refusal to engage with the messy, necessary work of challenging power. In the theater of the internet, Fridman's unfollow is a curtain dropped mid-scene, a refusal to let the play go on. But let's not get too dour. This is, after all, a comedy, and Hassan's delivery is pure vaudeville, a knowing wink at the absurdity of it all. The mention of Fridman's fondness for Destiny, the debate bro provocateur who thrives on intellectual cage matches, is a delicious bit of shade, implying that Fridman's loyalties lie with the contrarians, the edgelords, the self-styled truth-seekers who'd rather spar than build. It's a jab that lands because it's relatable. Who hasn't felt the sting of being sidelined for someone flashier, someone less threatening to the algorithm? Hassan's shrugging speculation about Fridman's motives is the internet equivalent of a mic drop, a reminder that in the attention economy, even the pettiest slights are a performance. And perform he does with the glee of a man who knows the crowd is on his side. Cinematically, this feudlet plays like a Wes Anderson diorama, quirky, over-stylized, and brimming with subtext. Hassan is the charismatic rebel, all sharp angles and righteous fury, while Fridman is the eccentric professor, fussing over his podcast mics like a watchmaker tending to a dying clock. The unfollow is the inciting incident, a single frame that sets the whole contraption in motion, revealing the fault lines beneath their public personas. Destiny, lurking in the background, is the wild card, a cameo appearance that throws the narrative into chaos. And the audience? We're the voyeurs scrolling through X, chuckling at the drama while secretly craving resolution. It's a film that's equal parts farce and tragedy, a satire of a world where ideas are currency but egos are the real battlefield. From my vantage point, the heart of this drama lies in the tension between authenticity and performance. Hasan, for all his flaws, is unapologetically himself, a loud, messy, occasionally hypocritical champion of the left. His refusal to play Fridman's game, to sit politely in the podcast chair and debate the undebatable, is a kind of integrity, a rejection of the false equivalence that passes for discourse. Fridman, by contrast, is the ultimate performer, a man whose neutrality is a carefully curated brand. His unfollow, while petty, is also a crack in that facade, a moment where the mask slips, revealing a preference for the safe, the palatable, the destiny-approved. The liberal soul recoils at this because it knows that true dialogue isn't about balance. It's about reckoning with power, with history, with the stakes of a world on fire. Hasan's quip about Fridman's dislike is a flare in the dark, a signal that the fight for truth is never neutral. Yet there's a hilarity to it all, a cosmic absurdity that Hasan leans into with relish. The idea that a podcast snub could spiral into a public airing of grievances is peak internet, a reminder that our digital lives are a house of cards built on fragile egos. Hasan's mention of Fridman's unfollow is delivered with the cadence of a stand-up comic riffing on a bad date, and it works because it's so human. Who among us hasn't overanalyzed a social media slight, hasn't spun a narrative from a single click? In this, Hasan is our everyman, our avatar in the absurd theater of online grudges. His laughter is our laughter, a release valve for the tension of living in a world where every interaction is a potential minefield. Cinematically, the unfollow is the plot twist, the moment where the hero realizes the game was rigged all along. Hasan's response is the monologue, a freewheeling rant that's equal parts defiance and resignation. Fridman, in his silence, is the antagonist, not a villain but a foil, a man whose retreat speaks louder than words. The liberal lens sharpens here because it sees in Fridman's absence a broader retreat, a refusal to engage with the radical, the disruptive, the necessary. In a world where billionaires hoard wealth and wars rage on, Fridman's podcast empire feels like a luxury liner rearranging deck chairs. And Hasan's quip is the lifeboat, small but defiant. Act 2. The Ghosts of Digital Grudges. Let's rewind the reel, because no internet spat exists in isolation, and Hasan's dig at Fridman is haunted by the specters of countless digital feuds. These two men aren't just streamers and podcasters, they're archetypes in the sprawling epic of online culture. Hasan is the revolutionary, wielding his platform like a megaphone at a protest, while Fridman is the diplomat, offering a seat at the table to anyone with a pulse and an opinion. Their clash, however minor, is a microcosm of the internet's great divide. The radicals versus the centrists, the firebrands versus the peacemakers, the ones who fight versus the ones who equivocate. Hasan's quip about Fridman's unfollow is a masterclass in shade, but it's also a liberal cri de coeur, a plea for a world where ideas are judged not by their civility but by their truth. The unfollow, in this context, isn't just a personal slight. It's a rejection of Hasan's entire project, a vote for the sanitized discourse of destiny and his ilk over the messy, urgent truths of the left. The liberal heart aches at this because it knows the stakes. A world where climate change looms, where inequality festers, where fascism creeps, cannot afford the luxury of neutrality. Fridman's retreat, however small, is a symptom of a larger malaise, a culture that rewards the comfortable over the courageous. But let's not pretend Hasan is here to deliver a sermon. His quip is a performance, a high-wire act of wit and defiance. The mention of destiny is a deliciously petty jab, a reminder that even in the high-minded world of ideas, personal loyalties and grudges shape the battlefield. Hasan's shrugging delivery is the key. It's not a meltdown, not a tantrum, but a knowing nod to the absurdity of it all. He's not just calling out Fridman. He's calling out the entire ecosystem of podcast bros and debate lords, the self-styled intellectuals who'd rather score points than change the world. It's a roast that's equal parts comedy and conquest, and it's impossible not to admire the swagger of it.